WENJ HD Millville, Atlantic City, a Town Square media station. This is Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app. Now, live from the Matt Black Kia Studios.
What a move!
Here's Josh Hennig.
Apparently, Philadelphia is the city of winners all of a sudden. Eagles control the NFC East at 6-0, heading into their bye week. The Phillies are in the National League Championship Series for the first time in about 12 years. The Flyers, well, they keep winning somehow. And by the way, tomorrow night is the Sixers opener. So, man, what do we do with all this? Well, we try to get you covered on all the bases right here on Game Night, 97.3 ESPN FM, 97.3 ESPN mobile app. Rob Maaddi from the Associated Press joins us every Monday to recap the NFL weekend. Of course, Rob also used to cover the Phillies for the Associated Press. He now is a full-time NFL lead writer for them. He also is the host of the AP Football podcast. We'll get into all of that coming up with him in less than 20 minutes from now. As always, you can join the text message board at 609-403-0973. You also can DM the show through the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. I'm going to start with the Eagles because no offense to the Phillies, and it's not that I'm discrediting anything the Phillies did. I think what the Phillies did was incredibly impressive. But I'm starting with the Eagles because at the end of the day, Pete Thompson made a comment earlier on the Sports Bash with Mike Gill. Because Mike Gill asked him, would you rather the Phillies win the World Series or the Eagles win the Super Bowl? And he said Eagles. Because at the end of the day, this is a football town. This is a football region. This is a football area. If the Phillies and Eagles are both good at the same time, people are more likely going to run to the birds than the Phillies. And it's nothing against the Phillies. But the Eagles own this town. And you saw it on national TV last night. Every game that the Eagles play is sold out. The Phillies had trouble selling tickets for most of the year. All of a sudden, they get to the postseason, the building is packed. First of all, I'm grateful for that. But last night was a regular season game. Have you ever seen the link mostly or empty ever that wasn't the COVID year? No, you haven't. Because on a Sunday night, on a weekend where everyone was excited about the Phillies, on a weekend where even the Flyers had a solid attendance number for their opener, the link was packed to the brim with people wanting to see the Eagles take on the team that they hate the most. Eagle fan hates Cowboys more than any other team in the NFL. Whether it's logical or not, we're not getting that conversation right now. But last night, you saw an Eagles team that rose to the occasion and got the job done. And outside of the third quarter, the Eagles basically controlled that game from beginning to end. But the third quarter, honestly, might be the most important moment of the game for the Eagles. Because the Cowboys did an incredible job coming out of the locker room and making an adjustment. They did a great job at saying, okay, we're going to do this. And now it's on the Eagles to respond. And the difference between last night and some of the games earlier this year is that some of the games earlier this year, the Eagles, they didn't respond properly. There were a lot of times this season where, whether it was the Lions game, whether it was the Cardinals game, the second half, they had to hang on to win. Last night, the Eagles didn't hang on to win. They took the gut shot. They took the body blow. They hit the ground. They got up and they took it to the Cowboys. Last night might have been one of the most important wins of the entire season because this team showed themselves They showed the rest of the NFL. They showed their fans. They showed everyone that this is not a team that has a glass jaw. In the fight game, whether it's boxing or MMA, we talk about guys who can't take a shot, and it's in part a genetic thing. Some people are just predisposed to be able to take a certain level of, for lack of a better term, punishment. And other people can't. Some people just fall down with the first strike. It's just who they are. It's part of their genetic makeup. Well, the genetic makeup of this Eagles team is to be able to take a shot and keep pushing forward. I think they showed a level of resilience last night that was very important, because when the Cowboys came out, punched them in the face, and they went and scored, there was a part of everyone in that building that was looking around and saying, all right, now it's 2010. Even they said on the broadcast, it took the air out of the building a little bit. The Eagles had to find a way to put the air back in the building. And they did it by winning the time of possession battle last night. They did it by not committing turnovers. They did it by not committing penalties. They did it by being the team that asserted their will. And I thought that the Eagles defense, for as much as I have criticized them this year, did a very good job at bending but not breaking last night. There was never a point in time when after that first touchdown that the Cowboys scored, that you thought the dam was going to break on the next couple of drives, because the Cowboys could have very, very easily, after that score coming out of halftime, they could have very easily, once they got 20-10, they could have easily taken over this game, because Dallas scored not once, but 2 straight possessions. Then the possession after that, interception, missed field goal, game over. Because what the Eagles offense did is that they said, we are not going to let our defense get slaughtered. So what they did is they had a 7.5-minute drive. And then after the interception, they held the ball for another 2.5 minutes. So that 10-minute run where the Eagles defense was on the sideline gave them a chance to hit the reset button and recalibrate. And I got to give Gannon credit. I got to give the Eagles offense credit. Shane Steichen did an incredible job at adjusting with Lane Johnson out. I thought Gannon did a good job in the fourth quarter adjusting. And I think Nick Sirianni did a very good job at steering the ship, keeping everybody focused, keeping everybody on track, and getting that win last night. That might be one of those wins that is a staple for the rest of the year. Because you guys have heard me mention the phrase, one of my favorite scenes, if I had to make a top 5 list, right, of movie scenes plus quotes. Like, for example, it's the bad guy scene from Scarface. It's the they won't gain another yard from Remember the Titans. It's the, scene where, Commissioner Gordon says, he's the hero we need, not the hero we wanted in The Dark Knight, right? All those scenes. But on top of all those, doesn't matter if you win by an inch or a mile, winning is winning for the Fast and the Furious. And I bring that up because for as much as pizzazz and flair the Phillies gave you over the weekend, getting to the NLCS, the Eagles did yeoman's work yesterday. And the reason why I love the phrase, it doesn't matter if you win by an inch or a mile, winning is winning, is because we have a tendency as a society to not count the wins in life, not count our blessings. We have been grossly, we have been brainwashed grossly and inappropriately to an extent to think as a society that winning is not enough, that success is not enough, that we have to criticize everything. Okay. It's not enough that someone has clean clothes to wear. It's that their clothes are not up to somebody's standards, right? It's not good enough that someone made it through the day. It's that they didn't get XYZ done in that day. It's not good enough that you win a football game in a season and in a league where there is a ton of parity. It's that you didn't have to do it with style points. It's not good enough that the Phillies slugged their way to the National League Championship Series. It's that, well, this pitcher gave up a run or this pitcher didn't do so well. We have been brainwashed as a society to not appreciate what we have. Guess what? The Phillies are in the NLCS, and it's amazing. The Eagles beat the Cowboys. That's impressive. Why can't we just accept the wins? Look, I can get up here and critique and deconstruct and analyze anything in sports, not just because it's my job, but because I love it, all right? I love seeing how you won, how you lost, what happened. I like looking at it from the Eagles side and the Cowboys side. The Cowboys had a ton of turnovers, and last night was an amazing example of why Cooper Rush is not going to ever win a championship as the Cowboys starting quarterback. It has to be Dak, all right? And last night was also an example why teams win games and not individuals, because the Eagles team rallied and got the job done, and their defense in many ways won that game more than their offense did, because the defense took some body shots and got up off the map and got the job done and got the ball back to their offense with an opportunity to seal the game. And that's exactly what they did. And if you take out the Quez Watkins negative yardage play, the Eagles had 139 rushing yards last night. So they outrushed the Cowboys, where the Cowboys offense is in many ways predicated on that. And what else did the Eagles defense do? Eagles defense had 0 sacks. You know what they did have? 12 pass deflections, 4 quarterback hits. So while the Cowboys got the aesthetic, sexy stat, the flashy numbers, the Eagles got the most important number, win. So that's why I say, I love the quote, it doesn't matter if you win by an inch or a mile, winning is winning. Because at the end of the day, style points and aesthetic only gets you so far. Sometimes you got to get your hands dirty and just win by the slimmest of margins or whatever the situation may be. Doesn't mean the Eagles are perfect. It just means is that in the win column, this counts as a win, and it might go down as the most important win of the season. Game night here on 97.3 ESPN FM, 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Seattle. Being brought to you by my friends over at the FanDuel Sportsbook inside Bally's off the boardwalk in Atlantic City. Bet, watch, and win all season long. Plus, enjoy your favorite games with 10 betting kiosks, 5 betting windows, 13 big screen TVs, and plenty of comfortable seating. So whether it's the Phillies playing tomorrow night, the Sixers in action, the Flyers, NFL Thursday night, Sunday afternoon, or Monday football tonight, just head over to FanDuel Sportsbook off the boardwalk in Atlantic City at Bally's to get in on all the action this season. FanDuel wants every bettor's experience to be enjoyable and fun. Visit FanDuel.com/playwell. Learn more. Must be 21 or to play in present in New Jersey to bet online. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Rob Maaddi from the Associated Press talks more Eagles NFL next.
The National League Championship Series on ESPN Radio.
The Philadelphia Phillies knocks out the defending World Series champion Atlanta Braves. The San Diego Padres have knocked off the Los Angeles Dodgers.
It's the best of 7 with a trip to the World Series on the line. Game 1 of the Padres and Phillies. Coverage begins tomorrow at 7:30 Eastern on ESPN Radio. It's Phillies playoff baseball on 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.
Son, get in the car.
No, Dad, not your car. It smells horrid and it looks awful. I'm scared, Dad. I'm really scared.
Is your old car really scary? Matt Platt Mitsubishi wants your trade, even if you owe thousands more than it's worth. Push, pull, even drag it in to Matt Platt Mitsubishi and get more for your trade when you purchase any select new 2022 Mitsubishi SUV, plus every new Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross or Outlander SUV. Put 0 down and pay only 2.9% financing. Worried that your credit will make car buying scary? Matt Platt Mitsubishi knows bad things happen to good people. We finance your future, not your past. Even if your credit is less than perfect. Simply Matt Platt Mitsubishi. Approved with Tier 1 credit. Rebates and incentives to dealer. Go to mattplattmitsubishi.com for complete details. Plus tax, license, registration fees. Offers can't be combined. Expires 11/5/22. So come in today and get your deal your way. Located right in the heart of Glassboro for over 30 years.
Finding the right Medicare plan? Oof, no easy feat. Kind of like those dances my granddaughter loves making me do. But then I found Walgreens Find Rx coverage. Lets you compare plans online, over the phone, or in person. Made Medicare shopping so easy. Plus, I found plans with low-cost copays. I can get down with that. When you need to talk Medicare, Walgreens is here. Start shopping today at walgreens.com/Medicare.
O'Reilly. Protect your vehicle's engine with Syntec and O'Reilly Auto Parts. Syntec Premium Full Synthetic Motor Oil is formulated for today's engines to dissipate heat and reduce friction and wear. Right now, get 5 quarts of Syntec Full Synthetic and a MicroGuard Select Oil Filter for just $33.99. Try Syntec today, exclusively at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Is chronic heartburn making you hear this in your sleep and after you wake up and after every meal? Well, every time you hear it, it should remind you to talk to Atlanticare because we can find the underlying issue that's causing your heartburn and create a personalized plan to treat it so you don't have to keep doing this. Shake chronic heartburn for good. Visit atlanticare.org/heartburn.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
You wash your hands, you brush your teeth, but what about the nose? How do you clean your nose? With Navage. Navage uses powered suction to pull saline in one nostril, around the back of the nose, and out the other nostril, flushing out allergens, mucus, and germs. And it's why cleaning your nose, the body's air filter, is the next evolution in daily personal hygiene. People try Navage for lots of reasons. Sinusitis, colds, allergies, snoring, things that make it hard to breathe through your nose. But over time, they find that cleaning their nose makes them feel better, a lot better. Over 3 million Navage users have written more than 100,000 reviews, averaging 4.7 stars, saying, best product I've ever used, and amazing, I love my Navage. Navage helps you breathe better, sleep deeper, and snore less, but the biggest payoff is improved health. Navage is good personal hygiene and can help you stay healthier. At Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Target, and online. Navage, Navage, clean nose, healthy life.
Made a new home remodeling, helping make your dreams a reality.
Hi, I'm Brian with Made a New Home Remodeling. As you're working around the house on your fall projects, you might notice that your bathroom could use a little pick-me-up. And if it does, we can help. We love helping homeowners transform their bathrooms into spaces that bring them joy. So if you're ready for a new look, please contact us through madeanewhomeremodeling.com. Again, that's madeanewhomeremodeling.com.
When cold symptoms keep you up, try Vicks NyQuil Severe for max strength nighttime relief. Just 1 dose of Vicks NyQuil Severe starts to relieve 9 of your worst cold and flu symptoms to help take you from 9 to none. Get some rest and feel better with Vicks NyQuil Severe. The nighttime sniffling, sneezing, coughing, aching, sore throat, stuffy nose, fever, best sleep with a cold. Medicine. Use as directed.
Hey, Nissan, how do you get to the top?
Calculating. Proceed to 1959. Take a hard left in East Africa at the 71 Safari Rally. Veer right for 19 off-road championships in the Baja Desert. Proceed towards Moab. Take the trail to Hell's Revenge. Include steep incline. Continue for the next 1,000,000 miles.
Where to first again?
60 years, millions of miles, and the capability to take you anywhere. This is the new Nissan.
Hear ye, hear ye. Thanks for coming to the town square. First, I'd like to tell you about Steve. He's a plumber. I hear he does good work. Also, Tim. He's this new thing called a dentist. Oh, and Monica, she has a new vegan restaurant. I didn't even know that was a thing yet. Anyway, if you need those things, just wander around town and try to find them because the internet hasn't been invented yet, so I don't know.
This isn't the olden days. Now, word of mouth has gone online. At Town Square, South Jersey, we can show you how to harness the power of your existing word of mouth and amplify it online. Go to townsquarelocal.com for a free local customer analysis, where you can see how many local customers in South Jersey you could reach online. Visit townsquarelocal.com and be the Town Square today. That's townsquarelocal.com.
You're listening to Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app.
Game Night being brought to you by my friends over at Jenkins and Sons. Did you know that Jenkins Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning has helped your favorite football team? Over 40 years ago, John Jenkins Sr. invented the heated seat that football players sit on today. The Jenkins family created a way for football players to weather the extreme cold on frigid game days. Now imagine what Jenkins can do for your home. Jenkins is the name homeowners and business owners call for quality service and reliability. Call Jenkins for plumbing, drain cleaning, leak repairs, gas furnace, boiler, and hot water replacements. Jenkins technicians do it all. If professional football players can count on Jenkins, shouldn't you? Call Jenkins at 609-641-6262, online at jenkinsandsons.com. We'll talk with Rob Maaddi of the Associated Press in just a bit here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN FM, 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle. Let's get to some of you guys' thoughts and comments. The DMs are open on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle. You also can text into the show at 609-403-0973. Hal on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle. Hal from Wilmington says, as an East Bay Oakland fan, I just want to say I'm happy for Philadelphia sports teams. It eases my misery sometimes since I live out here. Good job to the Phillies. Hope you beat San Diego. That's from Hal in Wilmington. You know how it's interesting because, you know, if you're a Bay Area fan, as you mentioned, okay, you're Oakland East Bay, you went through a period where all of your teams were in that conversation as well. So you know very well, Hal in Wilmington, what it's like to have multiple teams having success all at the same time. It's a very unique thing that Philadelphia sports, they've gone through it before, but you know, I don't want to say this time feels different, but I will say that, you know, gauging the emotion of the region, it does feel a little bit different. The success this time round. A guy who has seen the success of both the Eagles and the Phillies firsthand joins us right now. Rob Maaddi from the Associated Press joins us here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN. You know, Rob, you move to Tampa and the Phillies go to the NLCS. What's going on here, man?
Hey, what's up, Josh? Well, if it helps any, I'm still in the area right now. So I was here for last night's Eagles game. I'm headed to New York for the NFL owners meetings. And I just got to feel the vibe of the Phillies being in the NLCS. And I think it's phenomenal. So many guys on that team that are so easy to root for. And this team is exciting to watch. So buckle up, enjoy the ride. I love the fact that they're going to go up against the Padres. I think this is a really nice matchup. I really enjoyed the storylines with the Nola brothers and Manny and Bryce and all of that stuff. So it's a great time to be in this city right now. I don't know if I want to leave, man. And the weather's so perfect with the fall weather. It's awesome.
It's a crazy thing to watch. And I'm glad you're here, Rob, because, You saw 2007 to 2011. You saw 2017 and 2018. We should add in with the Eagles. There have been crazy runs in this city of sports success. And I know right now it's only the two teams. Right now it's only because the Sixers, they don't even start till tomorrow night, actually. Flyers, they're so early in the season, you can't say one thing or the other about them. But from your perspective, does the fervor this weekend, does it match? Does it exceed? Is it similar? How do you gauge what is going on right now? Because me watching on TV last night with that Eagles Cowboys game, there were times that the crowd was just deafening Tirico and Collingsworth.
Yeah, and, I did hear, because I was at all of those games in that during that run. I was in the link for 2004, and I was in the link for 2017, and I was at CBP for 2008. And people say, "Oh, this is the loudest we've ever heard it." I don't know. I wasn't there this Friday and Saturday, but I find it hard to believe that the Citizens Bank Park could have been any louder than the day the Phillies actually won the World Series, right? That was pretty loud. Then I heard people say, "Oh, this weekend's amazing. Phillies win Friday, Saturday, Eagles win Sunday." Well, in 2008, during that World Series run, the Phillies won Friday or Saturday and Sunday, and the Eagles played a doubleheader on that Sunday during that. So, I mean, there were some great moments, some exciting times. It's hard to compare, to be honest, Josh, but I do believe, from being around other teams, other players, talking to people in baseball, there is no home field advantage in MLB quite like Philadelphia. I think the fans in Philly and baseball fans, right? I know this is a football town, but it's a baseball town too. And I feel like the fans here really get baseball, and they really know how to get into every pit. I remember 93, the Braves Phillies. I remember how that felt when they won that NLCS, and what that crowd was like at the old vet when it was 65,000. I really believe that there is no home field advantage, and that can rattle a pitcher. We talk about home field advantage in football all the time, and there's a lot of tremendous fan bases, whether it's the Raiders fans, whether it's Buffalo, Kansas City, Eagles fans are awesome. But when you want to look at just baseball, man, I really think Phillies fans have a way about them that they can impact the game by really rattling a pitcher. You can go back to before my time even. I think it was it Bert Hooton? I don't even know if you remember that way back in the 70s, rattling pitchers during that run too, when it was Schmidt and Carlton before they even got Rhodes. So I think they have an opportunity here coming up against the Padres, who I know their fan base was really into it and excited and everything else. It's a different mentality, man. It's a different mentality, and they're in for something special.
When you think about what happened last night with the Eagles game, for me, I said it earlier, and I want to ask you this. To me, I know it didn't have the flair and maybe the appeal that maybe the Phillies' 2 wins on Friday and Saturday did, but I think last night might be the most important win of the year for the Eagles, Rob, because they took the body shots that the Cowboys gave them in the third quarter. They got up off the mat and they said, "Bring it." Steichen and Gannon adjusted. Sirianni kept the guys moving forward. Despite Lane Johnson being out of the game, despite CJ Gardner-Johnson going out for a while, they found a way to get the water out of the ship and get the job done last night. I thought that was very important.
It was, and the way they were able to, again, another slow second half. They're not putting up, what is it now, 37 points in the first 6 weeks in the second half. But when they needed that drive, that game-clinching drive, they got it. 15 plays, 13 plays, 75 yards, whatever it was, 10 of those 11 first play on the ground. They were able to do what they needed to do to secure that win. And, yeah, I know that it was Cooper Rush at quarterback for the Cowboys, but that defense up until last night was pretty special, pretty tremendous, the Cowboys. And I think they are one of the top defenses in the league. So for the Eagles to go out there and hang 27 on them, yeah, they had some short fields. They had some 3 interceptions that contributed to that, but they were able to do what they needed to do. And I thought it was a statement game. It really was in so many ways, Josh, because you lose that game to the Cowboys, and now it's a three-way tie at 5-1 in the NFC East. But then you lose to the Cowboys in Cooper Rush, who we all know, despite all the silly debates and everything people wanted to do, oh, Cooper Rush going to be this? He's not the starting quarterback. He never should be the starting quarterback. We're talking about a guy who's been cut a handful of times in his career. Dak is the quarterback. But had they lost that game to a backup who's going to the bench, I think that there would have been some confidence damage done. But the way they were able to weather the storm in the second half and win that game, they really solidified themselves as the beast of the East and the leading contender in the NFC, because now you look at all the teams that we thought, I put this out during the game, the top four teams who entered the top four NFC teams who entered the season with the best Super Bowl odds, the Buccaneers, the Rams, the Packers, and the 49ers, they're all 3-3 right now. Eagles got a 3-game lead on them. With the schedule that the Eagles have coming up, like, we're legitimately talking about a number one seed possibility here.
When you mentioned number one seed, let me ask you this, because obviously a lot of people today are talking about Tom Brady yelling and screaming at his offensive lineman yesterday. Rodgers looks completely miserable up there in Green Bay. I mean, these are two of the top quarterbacks. Even Pat Mahomes lost yesterday. We're seeing a lot of teams with the top quarterbacks losing, but yet, you know, a lot of people would say, well, Jalen Hurts is not a top 10 quarterback. A lot of people would say, well, Matthew Stafford throws an interception in every game, right? A lot of people will say, you know, well, the Jets are winning because of their defense and not Zach Wilson. What do we say about the fact that, Rob, this is supposed to be a quarterback-driven league, but the quarterbacks yesterday, they weren't the top winners?
No, and you know, with the exception of Buffalo, Josh Allen being a MVP contender, and he goes out there and he beats Patrick Mahomes on his turf in Kansas City, kind of a semi-revenge. It wasn't a playoff game, so I wouldn't call it a full throttle revenge game for them. But yeah, I mean, there's going to be some ups and downs, and Tom Brady's going through it in Tampa with an offensive line that's been decimated by injury and just isn't good. They're just not good at all right now. Aaron Rodgers loses Devontae Adams, and you knew that was going to be a big issue for him. But what the Eagles have in Jalen Hurts is just a winner. He's a flat-out winner, and he's doing whatever he needs to do each given week to win games. If he's got to run, he's running. There were a couple games where he threw for 300-plus yards. I think he finished yesterday, even though he's 15 for 25. It doesn't look all that glamorous, 155 yards, and he's over 100 passer rating. So he's getting the job done, but it's all the intangibles that he's bringing to the table too. You know, when you hear Nick Sirianni after the game talk about big time leadership, I just love that about him and what he's able to do in the huddle. And I love the fact that he talks about every game. Oh, we haven't even played up to our standards yet. And they haven't. They really haven't. They haven't played a complete game yet. So I look at what Jalen Hurts has been able to do, and you look at all the quarterbacks with the recognition, the elite status guys. And yeah, he may not have their type of numbers, but you got to put this guy right there in the mix with all of them. And when we're 6 games in, we got 11 games to go. I don't know how it's going to play out, but right now he's in my first half MVP contender status.
Rob Maaddi from the Associated Press joining us here on GameNight 97.3 ESPN FM, the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle City, at Rob Maaddi on Twitter. Make sure you check out the AP Football Podcast and also Faith on the Field Saturday mornings at 9 a.m. here on 97.3 ESPN. Rob, the Eagles are undefeated, but we got to talk about that other team in the NFC East, not the Cowboys who just lost, the Giants. I mean, I got to say, like, I'm not trying to make it this simple, but is this just a scenario what happens when you have like competent people in charge? Like, you know, you went from, you know, McAdoo and Judge to Dayball, and it seems like it's a night and day organization.
Certainly helps, Josh. I think when you have the right coaching in there, and you got guys who are able to coach up their players the right way, who can help take whatever ability they have and utilize that, maximize that. You see this. And what I love about this Giants team is that 3 of their wins, I mean, you beat the Packers and Ravens in back-to-back weeks. But in both of those games and one other game this year, they've come back from a double-digit second half deficit to win 3 times this year. And in the first 6 games, that shows you, that's signs of a team that believes in itself, believes in its head coach, and doesn't quit, doesn't surrender. When things go wrong in the past, you're looking at a team that hasn't been in the playoffs since 2016. That's gone through hasn't had a winning season since 2016. So you've had turnover, you've had new coaches coming in, but there are some players who still have been impacted by that losing. I mean, Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley been here for most of that, but they're finding ways to come back and win these games. And I think that just speaks volumes about Brian Daboll right now and what he's been able to do. And if you had to pick a coach of the year, Sirianni's 6-0, Daboll's 5-1. You got to look at those two and go, man, this is going to come down to whichever one of them wins the NFC East. And listen, I still think the Eagles are going to win the East. I still think at some point the Giants are going to come. I don't see them as being an elite 12-13 win team. But each week I'm increasing it. I go, they're still going to be a 7-8 win team. They're going to be an 8-9 win team. I don't know. At 5-1, Josh, it's all they got to do is win 5 more games, go 5-6, and they're a 10-win team. So this Giants team right now is showing me that they're no fluke.
I want to ask you a little more about, you mentioned Josh Allen and what the Bills did yesterday. Most people believe they're the best team in the NFL, Rob. And how much of what you saw yesterday was Josh Allen and the Bills? How much was their defense? Because it feels like Von Miller has changed the vibe in Buffalo defensively. I don't see a lot of games where Pat Mahomes is limited. And outside of Juju Smith-Schuster, it felt like almost nobody on Kansas City's side had a good game yesterday.
Yeah, that defense is I don't know why, because they were number 1 in the NFL last year. They just seem underrated because I think it's in comparison to Josh Allen and the offense. And when you think Buffalo, you think Josh Allen, you think that offense, you think how dynamic they could be. You look at what he can do. You see him running out there yesterday, hurtling over defenders, throwing 3 touchdown passes, running for a score. And then it's easy to overlook that defense, but they came into the year with the number 1 defense last season. They added Von Miller, and I was wondering how much he's going to have left. But like you're saying, he's really able to continue to impact games. And I think that's what separates the Buffalo Bills from everyone else in the NFL. You have the superstar quarterback, you have a dynamic offense, but you also have a way with that tenacious defense, stingy defense to also, if your offense is struggling or is getting shut down, you can win games defensively. And that's why I also view them as, I know the Eagles are undefeated. I know the Bills have lost 1 game. I still put the Buffalo Bills atop my power rankings as the best team in the NFL.
I want to get your perspective on what happened with Tampa yesterday, because you've covered the Bucs very closely. You've covered Tom Brady. You've seen Tom and his different iterations. I know Tom's a passionate guy, but there's a part of me that looks at what happened yesterday, not just the yelling on the sideline, but the game in general, that just makes you wonder, Rob, is it just this season wasn't meant to be between all the injuries and everything else? Could it just be that, Tom Brady came back and he came back to a situation that just never was going to be ultimately perfect or successful?
This situation for him started to unravel right when Ryan Jensen, their Pro Bowl center, goes down. And then before that, even Ali Marpet, Pro Bowl guard, retired. And then Gronk retires. And then you lose you lose 3 offensive linemen, and you got a new interior of that offensive line. The only guys back are the tackles, Donovan Smith and Tristan Wirfs, who are really good at their positions. And you combine that with no Gronk, you combine that with what's going on with Brady off the field. No matter what he says, he's a human being. And when you and I know he's the GOAT, I know he's got this incredible ability to laser focus, all of that stuff. And I believe it. And I still think they're going to win the division because their division stinks, and they could be playing much better come January than they're playing right now. And if you go back to 2020, they were 5-3 at one point in that season, and then turned it up the second half of the season. They were in danger of not making the playoffs, and they got in as a wild card, and they had to win on the road to even get to the Super Bowl and win the Super Bowl in their home stadium. But I think all of those things, the injuries on the offensive line, the issues, the no Gronk, and the issues that he's having at home, off the field, they're all factors. And at some point, that stuff, it just continues to add up, and it results in what you see against the Pittsburgh Steelers. I thought it was interesting, Josh, that Todd Bowles says some guys are living on their Super Bowl, and they need to come out and play now and not live off of that Super Bowl. I don't know how many guys he's referring to, but man, that's not a good thing when you have that going on a team. What killed them yesterday too in that game is 3 times Mitch Trubisky completes a 3rd and 11 or longer to Chase Claypool. And we saw that a couple of years ago when Claypool dominated the Eagles in a game.
Right.
But there was a 3rd and 11, there was a 3rd and 15, and there was a 3rd and 16. And 2 of those were on that game sealing drive where get off the field one time, and now all you need is Brady to drive him into field goal range, and they can win the game. And that defense let them down big time.
You mentioned Steelers. That kind of combines with my final thing for you, Rob. I want to ask you, people were starting to write off the Steelers this year and Tomlin, right? And I mean, I felt like their entire secondary was injured on Sunday.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it was 3 or 4 starters were ruled out before the game even started, and then you have on the other side of the coin, people were counting out the Patriots, right? And Belichick. And then the Steelers win yesterday. The Patriots have 2 straight wins. Are we starting to see Tomlin and Belichick in the guts of the season find a way to get a hold of their players and pull something out of them here?
And Pittsburgh's coming off that horrific loss, right, last week against Buffalo. And you're coming off that horrific loss to the Buffalo Bills, and you're missing all 3 guys in the top 3 corners and your best safety, and you're going up against Tom Brady, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, and all those guys, and you're able to hold them to 18 points. That speaks volumes about what Mike Tomlin was able to do with that team and get them turned around that quickly. They're only 2-4. They still will probably have a losing season, the first ever under Mike Tomlin. But I think that's a big-time coaching job out of him. And then they lose Kenny Pickett in the game, too, to a concussion. And Trubisky comes off the bench looking sharper and better than he has since his Pro Bowl year in 2018. And then you go over to Bill Belichick and what he's been able to do with a rookie 3rd-round pick quarterback, right? Bailey Zappi and a legitimate seeming controversy now with Mac Jones. Whereas in Dallas, Cooper Rush and Dak Prescott was silly. This one in New England, I think, has got some legs. I think there may have been something along the way that Bill didn't like about Mac Jones, whether it's preparation, whether the way he was playing in certain moments. I don't know what it is, but he's got what appears to be right now a legitimate quarterback controversy, and it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. But you're talking about a guy in both Belichick and Tomlin, 2 Hall of Fame coaches, and Belichick may be the greatest of all time. So at some point you expect their coaching prowess to take over and really help those teams pull out of whatever funk they're going through.
Before I let you go, Rob, I'm going to put you on the spot. What's more likely to happen? The Phillies win the World Series or the Eagles reach the Super Bowl?
Reach or win?
Reach.
I'll go Phillies, 8 wins away. I think this team, with the way Nola's pitching, Zach Wheeler's pitching, and the fact that Schwarber still hasn't hit, the fact that Rhys Hoskins, I know he had the bat spike 3-run home run, but
Right.
still hasn't come out of and the offense can do more, right? And having that incredible home field advantage, even though they don't have it in the playoffs, but you still got to play 3 games here in both series. I think they can beat the Padres in 5. This to me is a team of not just team of destiny, but a team of like playing with house money, got nothing to lose. things are going to get a little bit more difficult for the Eagles, I would imagine, at some point. Yeah, I mean, I know I look at the schedule, and it's hard to see losses. Steelers, Texans, Commanders, Colts at Indy might be their toughest game in the next month, and then they got the Packers, and then Tennessee. That's a little bit of a tough stretch, and at the Giants, but then it's Bears, Cowboys. Like, the Eagles legitimately can win 13 games, and that could set themselves up nicely. But at some point, I really think the Buccaneers are going to come around, the Packers are going to come around, and even if it's at home against Tampa or at home against Rodgers, we've seen him win at the Link on his way to a Super Bowl, his only one. We've seen that happen, and I just don't feel that confident in them in the playoffs to say Super Bowl team right now.
He's the Associated Press lead NFL writer. Check out Faith on the Field Saturday mornings at 9 a.m. here on 97.3 ESPN The Encore. Sunday mornings here on 97.3 ESPN. And, of course, the AP Pro Football podcast, which he hosts as well. And follow him on Twitter for all your NFL news and notes at Rob Maaddi on Twitter. Rob, always appreciate the time. Safe travels. Right now there's a little weird rainstorm passing through. Apparently the Yankees game tonight is going to be delayed. It hasn't even started raining yet. So, wherever you're going, just be safe, my friend, okay?
Appreciate that, my man. Thank you, Josh. Take care.
Josh Hennig here on GameNight, 97.3 ESPN FM and 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. We'll wrap up the show on the other side.
You haven't downloaded the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app? Well, go get it now to follow all the Philly sports teams at 97.3ESPN.com. Powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
It's spooky. It's scary. It's keeping you up at night. It's your car in your garage. Get to Matt Blatt Kia. They'll take any trade in any condition, even if you owe more than your trade is worth. Matt Blatt Kia wants to get you released. Plus, if you have a job clearing $350 weekly, we finance your future, not your past. At Matt Blatt Kia, you're virtually approved. Don't see your new Kia on the lot? Doesn't mean you can't be driving it home tomorrow. Hundreds of new and certified Kias in stock are on the way, with zero down and zero payments for 90 days, with peace of mind. Matt Blatt Kia's exclusive 4-day love it or leave it return policy.
It's gotta be a Matt Blatt Kia.
On approved credit plus applicable taxes and fees. See dealer for details. Not all will qualify. Deferred payment through TFCU. Interest accrues from date of sale. Offers don't combine. Go to mattblattkianj.com for complete details. Matt Blatt Kia, 6211 Black Horse Pike, Egg Harbor Township, and now on Route 37 in Toms River.
Hi, I'm Capri, and the little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A Grilled Spicy Deluxe is the chicken. They actually put it on the grill, cooked it in the sauce. It's definitely a good grilled spicy sandwich.
Order a grilled spicy deluxe sandwich on the Chick-fil-A app today. Available for a limited time. Real guests paid for the testimonial.
The new Google Pixel 7 Pro is super, especially when it's on Verizon, the network America relies on. It's supercharged, super powered, and a super
deal.
You know it. Now, switch to Verizon and get the Google Pixel 7 Pro on us with select trade-ins and select 5G unlimited plans.
That really is super.
Yep. There's never been a better time to switch to Verizon. $899.99 device payment purchase with new smartphone line on select 5G unlimited plans required. $200 Verizon e-gift card with ported. Less $700 trade-in/promo credit applied over 36 months. 0% APR. Trade-in conditions and additional terms apply.
We tried Dynovite nutritional supplement, and after a couple of weeks, we noticed a big difference. Our little Gizmo's coat was shinier, and there was a lot less scratching and shedding.
My dog smelled and scratched constantly. We bathed and sprayed her, took her to the vet, but no results. Now, a little Dynovite in her food helps Bella keep her beautiful coat with no scratching or smell.
Happier, healthier with every bite. Over 1 million pets helped with Dynovite.
O'Reilly. O'Reilly Auto Parts specializes in keeping your car on the road. Not sure how much life is left in your battery? Our professional parts people will test it for free. If it does need to be replaced, we'll help you find just the right one to fit your car. Our Superstart batteries are built to handle even the toughest conditions. Visit O'Reilly Auto Parts today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
At my age, I never dreamed I'd be dealing with opioid addiction.
I was pregnant and I couldn't stop.
Getting sidelined by an injury was bad, but the cravings were way worse.
Then I heard about 844-REACH-NJ.
They connected me to treatment and I had a healthy baby.
844-REACH-NJ was the call that made the difference.
Thank goodness I made the call.
So glad I made the call for both of us.
REACH-NJ.
If you or someone you love is struggling with addiction, call 844-REACH-NJ from the New Jersey Department of Human Services.
Let me guess. Unknown caller. You could reduce the number of unwanted calls and emails with online privacy protection. The latest innovation from Discover will help regularly remove your personal info, like your name and address, from 10 popular people search websites that could sell your data. And we'll do it for free. Activate in the Discover app. See terms and learn more at discover.com/online privacy protection.
You wash your hands, you brush your teeth, but what about the nose? How do you clean your nose? With Navage. Navage uses powered suction to pull saline in one nostril, around the back of the nose, and out the other nostril, flushing out allergens, mucus, and germs. And it's why cleaning your nose, the body's air filter, is the next evolution in daily personal hygiene. People try Navage for lots of reasons. Sinusitis, colds, allergies, snoring, things that make it hard to breathe through your nose. But over time, they find that cleaning their nose makes them feel better, a lot better. Over 3 million Navage users have written more than 100,000 reviews, averaging 4.7 stars, saying, best product I've ever used, and amazing. I love my Navage. Navage helps you breathe better, sleep deeper, and snore less. But the biggest payoff is improved health. Navage is good personal hygiene and can help you stay healthier. At Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Target, and online. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E. Clean nose, healthy life.
Sure, we have 30 seconds to tell you that drivers who switch to Progressive could save big. But then what? Well, radio has been called theater of the mind, so let's tell a story with sound effects. Wow, it's like I was in the story. Almost makes me forget this was supposed to be about saving big with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Hi, it's Pete from Chicky and Pete's Incredible Crab Specials Wednesdays this fall. 2 pounds of snow crab legs for $49.99 or 2 pounds of snow crab legs and 4 hard shells for $79.99. Thursdays is Chicky and Pete's Go Birds Wing Special. Whatever the Eagles score on Sunday, get that percentage off your wings on Thursday. Higher score, bigger discount. Plus, our fall specialty menu with the mouth-watering garlic truffle burger and B-Dog Impact Nachos. Enjoy a pumpkin shandy or a smoked apple cider margarita. Chickies and Pete's. Hi, it's Pete from Chicky and Pete's. And we know Saturdays in the fall are special. Why? College football. And we have you covered with food and drink specials and the best in-game experience to watch your team or the college football game of the week. Come watch Penn State, Temple, Villanova, Notre Dame, Texas, Michigan, Georgia, and more. College football Saturdays are special at Chickies and Pete's.
Now, more Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app.
All right, Josh Hennig here on 97.3 ESPN. A couple things before we get out of here. Number one, we are scheduled to bring you Yankees Guardians Game 5 here on 97.3 ESPN FM, but Major League Baseball they're determining after 7 p.m. if the game is going to be rain delayed or if it'll be postponed. If the game is going to be postponed, we will bring you Monday Night Football here on 97.3 ESPN. Broncos versus Chargers. If the game is only going to be delayed a little while, we will continue to bring you coverage of Yankees Guardians tonight on 97.3 ESPN. Before I get out of here, Jeff in Ocean City, excellent point about the Eagles and the turnover differential. Winning a turnover battle means you win games. And guess what? Getting turnovers is a team stat. Remember that, folks. Have a great night, everybody.
Health Update with Robin Stoloff. Learn more.
And for the YouTube-only crowd, thank you for watching. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe. I appreciate everybody listening out there. On the YouTube channel as well, at Josh Hennig. Give me a follow there. just for the YouTube crowd, I want to follow up on something. If you follow me on Twitter at Josh Hennig, you saw some people who come at me about my position on something. And I wanted to take this opportunity to use yesterday's games as an example of why I stand by this position. And that is, I have said for many years, and I've gotten a lot of flack for this over the years, that quarterback is an overrated position in sports. It's not that I think the quarterback is useless or frivolous or I'm discounting great quarterback play. But in a world of where team stats matter, right? You know, the offensive line has to block, the receivers have to catch. But we are treating quarterbacks who have a win-loss record like they're the best or worst of all time. And I hate that mentality. I hate that line of thinking. We live in a world where we have been told to think a certain way by people who just assume that we're gullible enough to listen to everything that they say. And I don't believe in living like that. I'm not going to let somebody tell me that just because Cooper Rush was 4-0 meant that he should be able to beat the Eagles last night. He had 3 interceptions. You know why? Because the longer you play in professional sports, the more tape they get on you. And the more that your flaws and vulnerabilities come out to play. You look at the situation when it comes to what happened last night. The Eagles defense won them that game more than anything else. I will not accept that the quarterback is the end-all be-all. Because at the end of the day, look what's happening to Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers this year. These are 2 future Hall of Famers. These are 2 of the best quarterbacks, if not the last 30 years of all time. And yet they're both struggling. Why? Because the talent around them has dropped off significantly. So are they automatically bums? Or do we overvalue them as quarterbacks? Geno Smith is the starting quarterback in Seattle. His stats are way better, and his team is looking a lot better than Russell Wilson is in Denver. We were told for years that Russell Wilson is a future Hall of Fame quarterback. That he's one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. That he's the second coming of Fran Tarkenton. Now all of a sudden, he looks like a nothing burger over there in Denver. Quarterback is important because they handle the ball more than anybody else in a game. But I refuse to accept any reality where anyone is telling me that the quarterback is so important that it rises above anything else. Because at the end of the day, there's only a handful of quarterbacks who can elevate their team to be better than they are. The rest of the players, you need your offensive line, you need your receivers, you need your tight ends, you need your running backs, and you need your defense to step up. Yesterday, the Tampa Bay Bucks were going against the Steelers defense that was without 3 of their 4 starters in the secondary. And they couldn't do anything. You know why? Because the Bucks offensive line is atrocious and Brady is tired of having to explain to these guys what he needs from them. They're not getting it done. And Todd Bowles can say all he wants that they're still living off that Super Bowl. I don't know how many of those guys that are playing right now are actually all in the Super Bowl team, to be honest. So every next time you hear somebody tell you that the quarterback is the most important position in football, just look at the games yesterday. The Rams, their defense won. The Eagles, you could argue their defense won the first half. The Eagles' offense took care of the second half in the fourth quarter. The Bills' defense was amazing yesterday. It's not that Pat Mahomes stinks. The Bills' defense is good. It's not that Tom Brady stinks. The Bucs' offensive line is not good. Context, people. So yes, wins on a quarterback stat sheet is overrated. I don't care about your win-loss record. I care about who's playing around you. At Josh Hennig on Twitter. Thank you for watching. Hit the like button, subscribe, and share with your friends. I'm Josh Hennig. Have a great night, everybody.